Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to look at resolution of vectors. In my previous video, we discussed about scalars and vectors and how we add two vectors together to get a resultant. Now, apart from getting it a resultant, there is another way in which we can add two vectors, and that is what is said to be what? Resolution of what? Vectors. So let's see what we have on the board. Stay tuned. Two vectors can be combined to obtain a resultant. This resultant will have the same effect as the two vectors acting together. The reverse process of finding the resultant is through a process known as what? Resolution of what? Vectors. So we can use a reverse method to get the resultant, which is resolution of what? Vectors. So let us see how we can resolve vectors, and let us understand how we can resolve vectors. Stay tuned. Consider a vector v which lies in an xy plane. When you say xy plane, it means it means y and x axis. Okay, this vector can be expressed as sum of two other vectors called the components of the original vectors. All right, the component of a vector in a given direction is its effective value in that was direction. So what are they trying to say? Suppose we have a vector v inclined as an right angle theta. We are going to resolve this vector in the what? Horizontal component. So the horizontal component of this vector is what? V going in the x direction. The vertical component of this vector v is what? Vy, because it's going in the what? Vertical what? Direction. Is that okay? So I'm going to explain to you how to resolve vectors in the horizontal component and in the vertical what? Components. So you have to understand that a single vector, one vector, can be resolved into horizontal and vertical what? Components. So let's see how we can do that. Stay tuned. So let's see how we can resolve vectors. Okay, a single vector v, that is one vector, can be resolved into horizontal and vertical components. So if you are resolving this vector v in this east direction, it's going to be what? V what? X, because the vector is moving in the east direction. Okay, so if you are resolving this vector, if you are resolving this vector v in the y direction, it's going to be what? V what? Y, because it is going in the y direction. You're supposed to take note of these things so I can help you to resolve vectors. The horizontal component vx, because this is the horizontal component of the vector, is equals to v cos what? Theta, while the vertical component vy is equals to v sin what? Theta. What are they trying to say? They are trying to say that the horizontal goes with what? Cos, and vertical goes with what? Sine. Don't forget that. Horizontal goes with what? Cos, and vertical goes with what? Sine. Then note that vy and vx are at right angles to each other. So it means that this it means that vy and vx, must be at what? Right angle. So in other words, this angle must be a right angle triangle. So let us look at few examples under resolution of what? Vectors. Stay tuned. So let us look at these few examples on resolution of vectors. The first one, resolve a force of 100 Newton inclined at 50 degrees to the horizontal into the horizontal and vertical components. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to write our parameters. The force is what? 100 what? Newton, and the angle inclined to the horizontal is 50 what? Degrees. So the horizontal component of this vector is what? Fx, because it is the force moving in the horizontal direction. So it is equals to F cos what? Theta. Don't forget that I told you that the horizontal goes with what? Cos, and vertical goes with what? Sine. Alright, so we're just going to slot in our values by saying 100 cos 50. That's all. As simple as that. With the help of the calculator, we say cos 50 equals this times 100. So I'm going to have 64.27 what? The newtons. I'm going to have 64.27 newtons. That is the F what? X. So let me look at the vertical component. That is Fy. So I have F sine what? Theta. So I'm just simply going to impute it by saying 100 sine 50. What do I mean? Okay, I'm going to multiply to get sine 50 equals times 100. So I'm going to have equals to 76.60 what? Newton. So this is how we can resolve this vector of 100 Newton into horizontal and vertical components. So the horizontal component is 64.27 newtons and the vertical component is 76.60 newtons. I hope you understand that. Let's look at the next one. Okay, a plane flies with a velocity of 1000 km per hour in a direction north 60 degrees east. Find its effective velocity in the easterly and northerly directions. Before I solve this, I have to use a sketch so that you can understand. If they say north 60 degrees what? East, it means from here to here the angle given is what? 60 what? Degrees. This is north and this is what? East. For us to resolve a vector, we are going to make sure that the angle is inclined to the horizontal. That means the angle we need is this one, which is what? Theta. Are we getting this now? So you cannot solve with this because this angle is inclined to the horizontal. Because this angle is inclined to the what? Vertical. So for us to resolve a vector, the angle must be inclined to the what? Horizontal. So you are going to say, for us to get this angle, we say 90 minus what? What I have. Okay, 90 minus what? 60, which is going to give me 30 what? Degrees. So I'm going to use 30 degrees to resolve this particular what? Velocity, because we're looking for velocity. Okay, so the magnitude of this velocity is given as 1000 km per what? Per hour. So for us to resolve into horizontal component, Vx is equals to V cos what? Theta. V cos theta. Okay, so what is my V? My V is 1000 cos what? 30. Let's see what we have. Cos 30 times, rather cos 30 is equal to this times 1000. I'm going to have Vx is equals to 866.0 km per what? Hour. This is my horizontal component of the velocity, Vx. So the vertical component of the velocity is what? Vy is equals to what? V sine what? Theta. That is 1000 sine what? 30. Okay, so we say sine 30 is equals to times 1000. I'm going to have 500. So my Vy is equals to 500 km per hour. Is that okay? Hope you understand that. So this is how we can resolve this velocity into horizontal and vertical what? Components. Remember I told you that if the angle is given and is inclined to the vertical component, you're not supposed to solve with it, because for you to resolve a vector, the angle must be inclined to the what? Horizontal. Is that okay? So this is how we can resolve vectors, a single vector, into horizontal and vertical what? Components. If you are watching this channel for the first time, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more educative what? Videos. I'm going to put up an assignment and you have to solve it and drop your answer in the comment section. See you next time in my next class. Bye.